Welcome back to the Dungeon Master's Block, the place where we come to talk about the Dungeon Master, the most important person in the game. With every conversation, we hope to inspire as many as possible to keep on Dungeon Mastering.
And I'm one of your hosts, DM Neal, aka Joke Maniac.
And I'm one of your other hosts, DM Derrick, aka How Not to DM.
And today on this episode, we are going to be looking at A Lich's Carol. It's really just looking at past, present, and future because it's the beginning of the year. So that's what we do every year. Welcome.
I just watched A Muppet's Christmas Carol again this year, and it had been a while since I watched it, and I forgot how much I liked it. You know, I watched it a ton when I was a kid at my grandma's house. She had an old, she had a VHS of it, and we would watch it every Christmas. So it was a good throwback, and I forgot how great it is and how good Michael Caine is.
Yeah, because it's whether or not you think you are a Muppet with them, or you're the only one who's not a Muppet. Or you think they're real people. There's this really interesting psychology of like, either you think they're all real, like that's why an actor works well with the Muppets, or you just think you're a Muppet with them. One of the two has to happen for it to work really well.
Yeah, I've seen that same post, and it was talking about Treasure Island, where Tim Curry is one of the Muppets, and then in Christmas Carol, where Michael Caine is treating them all like actors.
Yes, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it was good, though. My buddy Jameson, who runs a podcast called Becoming the Main Character, he talks about lots of different books, mostly fiction, and kind of like learning about the story and learning about protagonists and kind of what makes stories good and what lessons we can learn from them. He reviewed Christmas Carol this year for Christmas, for the holiday season. And he mentioned that A Muppet's Christmas Carol is one of the closer adaptations because they actually quote the book a lot. Like, as Gonzo is the narrator, he's directly quoting the Dickens book, which is kind of cool, actually, like that it's one of the closer adaptations. Anyway, enough about A Christmas Carol.
No, okay, enough about A Christmas Carol. Confession time. I did not tell you this before we started recording, but I'm very willing to admit this on air. This year, I watched Elf for the first time.
Oh, okay. What'd you think?
I had just never seen it. It is a very specific kind of comedic acting that like either you're going to think that it is so funny or you are not going to like it at all. Because I have seen, like, it's not like I didn't know about it because it's so prominent and so many people do genuinely deeply love that movie. But one of the funniest things I have ever seen about it is the guy who plays his dad, I guess the whole time filming, hated Will Ferrell and thought everything he was doing was the dumbest thing he had ever seen until the premiere, at which point he was like, all right, I was wrong. I have no idea. Everyone genuinely enjoyed this film and I'm wrong. I got it wrong. Also, for the longest time, I couldn't figure out. And then it dawned on me, that's the same mom as Step Brothers. Mm-hmm. And that took me way too long to piece those together. But
the Will Ferrell universe, there's always crossover actors in those movies. Yeah.
And watching New Girl and having loved it as much as I did, seeing a young blonde Zoe Deschanel really messed me up. It was real weird.
And like, to me, their age difference is so vast, especially now since Will Ferrell, he looks pretty old now. He's like mostly gray and white, and like a lot of wrinkles, whereas Zoe still looks fairly young. I'm sure she's dyeing her hair, but like she still looks pretty young. And like, the age gap seems a lot bigger now. Anyway. I'll be honest, Elf's not my favorite. My wife likes it a lot, but she grew up watching it a lot. I think I've seen it once or twice. I can take or leave it, really. But I'm glad you saw it for the first time.
I mean, we are asking just random questions of each other. So what is your favorite Christmas movie? And we could do past and present.
So honestly, I love A Muppet's Christmas Carol. I really love the original animated Grinch. We watched that quite a few times.
Oh, wow,
We actually got a VHS player this year, got a VCR, and like bought a bunch of VHSs or got a bunch for free. So that was one of them. And so I watched it with my kids a bunch on our little CRT TV, which was fun. But like, I don't know. I don't, there's not like one that I go back and watch every single year. I don't have a Christmas movie tradition like a lot of folks do. So my favorite one that I haven't seen in a long time, and I'm not sure if it has aged well or not, is called Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger and
Sinbad.
Sinbad. Yeah, I was trying to think of his name. Sinbad.
Yeah.
Hilarious as a kid. I don't know if it would be as funny now, but I'm sure I would enjoy it.
It holds up okay. Not amazing.
Right.
Just because I think it held up better when Black Friday was a little bit different. I think when there was a higher level of animosity during that time. I think it held up better until like now Black Friday is just this nebulous Wednesday through the next Monday and everything else. So
yes, it is so much easier for corporations to get your money nowadays than it used to be. So it is kind of like you're right. It's like a snapshot of a time of American consumerism that is behind us, but I don't know if we're better or worse off now. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I agree though. I don't necessarily have a go-to that I'm watching every year, but growing up, mine was the claymation style with Rudolph, where he's like, I want to be a dentist. Oh, the Misfit Toys. And that one. But
Yukon Cornelius.
Yes. But as an adult.
Yeah.
And this is not a family friendly film, but my go-to Christmas movie is Love Actually.
Is Love Actually a Christmas movie?
Mm-hmm. It's all set through Christmas.
Oh man. It's been a long time since I've seen that.
Mm-hmm. The play is Christmas. And then she's like, and then they're always confused because the little girl is dressing up as all these things because the nativity, they want all the kids to be involved. So then they're all dressing up as like the nativity lobster and all these things that don't make any sense. And that's why it's snowing. And that's why he leaves to go to America during Christmas. And because he doesn't have anyone to stay with on the holidays. You have Martin Freeman, who's Bilbo, Hugh Grant, Liam Neeson. You have Andrew Lincoln, Keira Knightley.
Is this the one that Jack Black is in too?
No, that's The Holiday.
That's The Holiday. I don't know if I've seen Love Actually. Maybe I haven't seen this.
And then you have a guest appearance from Mr. Bean because it's a British movie.
Rowan Atkinson is in it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Alan Rickman's in it.
Oh, R.I.P.
Yeah.
What a guy.
It's fantastic.
Well, apparently I need to rewatch this or maybe watch it for the first time, given I do not recall anything about it.
Yeah. That's my go-to.
I feel like this is one that my wife has watched and likes, but maybe that pre us dating and being married. So that's why.
Oh yeah. It's not new.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe listeners, if you have a Christmas movie that you love watching, or if there's a Christmas movie that you don't think we've watched that we need to make part of our yearly rotation, hit us up and tell us. Okay. So, Neal, the ghost of DM's past is entering your chambers as you slumber and awakens you to show you the mistakes you have made in your past.
Coming from you.
Yeah.
The person how not to DM. This is terrifying. I hear the chains rattling as you step through the door. Go ahead.
Ebenezer Scrooge. Yeah. What moment does it take you back to where you just cringe the hardest about running a game?
Okay. I don't think I've ever admitted this on air. This sucks. So it does. I don't think I've ever admitted this. There's one time, and it was so early. It was one of the very first times I had ever ran something for a convention. I just was so insecure with inter-party conflict that I always feel bad about being incapable of stepping in the way that I needed to and the way I could now. And so I don't necessarily
if you knew what you knew now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't feel bad. I feel bad for past me because present me could do it differently, but I don't begrudge anything about that scenario because it's what got me to here. That experience is the only reason that I'm better.
Yeah.
So I have to have gone through that to be better. And I know that that's what shaped me to know that it'll never happen again at any table, but it still sucks. It always haunts me. It always sits with me that there was just this level of inter-party conflict and that whole session just wasn't great. I mean, it may have been good, but I can never know if that's true because I don't feel that way. And like, I'll never feel that way about that session, but they may have, but it's just one of those things where it was like, it just this air of just gross just fell over the room. Like I said, I just wasn't capable of handling it at the time just because I didn't have the experience.
What was it like? Is there any more color you can give us?
It was kind of your classic, like, the person doesn't want to necessarily work with the rest of the party. And then they just found one person that really wanted that to be the case. And then those two just couldn't see eye to eye, and then just like kind of got into it about it. And then it just became this super awkward scenario that like, I just couldn't help resolve easily or mitigate or, navigate into a different scenario out of. And so like, it just, rather than pivoting to a different scene or being able to take that person aside or just stopping and saying, hey, this isn't how this is going to work. Or, there's so many avenues I could walk down now.
Right.
That I didn't walk down any of them. I just was this awkward, just continue forward kind of thing.
Just like, all right, we're going to keep going. Like that happened. And yeah. All right. That's good. I was thinking, for me, probably the time when I've been most uncomfortable was also a con game. What do you know? Honestly, listeners, listen, if you've never run a con game, you should still do it. Like, don't let this deter you, us telling you about how our worst times were at a con game.
My best game ever has been at a con game as well.
Yes. You've said that many times. Yeah.
Oh yeah. 100%.
So high highs and low lows. But yeah, my worst time was a con game, like supposed to be an hour session, Adventurers League, just supposed to go check out one of these factions that are part of Neverwinter or whatever and like do a little job for them. But I had two people who were doing some PvP. And this was probably within my first 2 or 3 years of running games. And so I wasn't as well equipped to like handle it. As a person, I tend to be non-confrontational a lot of the time. Like, I'll think things, but I won't say them about, I just try not to argue or cause problems if I can. But that also bleeds into when there's a problem, like an actual problem that I should be addressing. Maybe I don't address it as well as I should. And this is a great example of that. Like, I probably should have said something or done something, but I just kind of like tried to keep them doing separate things and then ended the session early. It was an hour session and I think we only ran 40 minutes. And one of the problem players was like, what? Like, that's it? I thought we were supposed to keep playing. And I'm like, nope, that's it. And I just like packed up my things and left.
We're done here.
Yeah.
You ruined it.
That's awesome. I mean, I wasn't going to tell him that, but basically, they were trying to like fight each other and I was, like making it harder for them to fight each other and then just tried to end the thing. I feel bad for the other players, really, honestly, like the 2 or 3 other people who were sitting at the table who had to deal with that. Not very fun. So.
And that's 100% where I always look back on it is I feel bad because I feel like one person in that conflict was getting steamrolled a little bit more than the other. And then there's the person that was completely on the outside. That's, I can't imagine. I don't know them. So there is certainly a chance that they were having a fantastic time. Because everyone is different, but I highly doubt that. And so I often think about that person as well, that they weren't having a great time having to watch it happen.
Yeah. Well, that was fun. The ghost of DM's past certainly teaching us some lessons. If you want to hear more horror stories, you can always check out the back catalog of How Not to Dungeon Master. That was my previous show. So yeah, new listeners or whoever, if you haven't checked that out, it's full of awful stuff that your favorite DMs have done and that they have learned from and you should learn from too. All right, I'll start with this one, the ghost of DM present, but instead we're going to make it more interesting because we don't want to talk about mistakes. So currently, I've mentioned it a handful of times, I think, but I am currently running a Star Wars 5e game for my home group, which has been a lot of fun. We were kind of just looking for a change of pace, but my players didn't want to stray too far from the game that they know and are very familiar with. And so SW5E.com. That's 4 characters. That's the site we're using, and it's got character builders and it's got a bunch of resources. But yeah, so that's what we've been using. It's very close to 5E, but they've got kind of Star Warsified classes, and they split up the spells that you can cast into tech casting. So for like a hacker, a slicer, a person who's good with ships and good with technology, there's like tech powers, and then there's force powers, which are the other half of the kind of spells that are there. More of like the mind control and the kinetic stuff. And then the force powers are also further bisected into light and dark force powers, which is kind of fun. So I've been homebrewing a few things where if people are using a lot more dark side powers, that is affecting them, because I feel like that there should be some consequences to that, and there should be some temptation, because that is kind of the heart of the Star Wars story is the pull of the dark side and why it would be interesting and why you would want to or not want to do that. It's been a lot of fun. I have been homebrewing and using the Star Wars wiki pages, and we set this 5,000 years, or was it 7,000 years previous to the Battle of Yavin. So like way, way old Republic, so that it's kind of in a familiar place, but like all of the factions, I can kind of play with the factions and I can play with the storyline. And it's not like, well, we know that the Empire is going to win this battle, or we know that, whatever is going to happen. I'm trying to make it so that their actions feel like they have real consequences in the galaxy. And it's been a lot of fun. They are currently headed to kind of the final confrontation, so that game will wrap up pretty soon, probably. But yeah, it's been fun to kind of play in a different world, but with a familiar system. And, it's given me some new ideas about the next games I'm going to run to keep things fresh. What about you, Neal? What's going on in your gaming world at your table?
Yeah, I've been excited because I've gotten pretty far away from anything pre-written, which has been fun. I mean, I usually stick around something pre-written. I'll usually dabble into it just because I kind of like dipping into the ideas of others, just because while I can certainly create, I mean, I've written for companies. I do have something from MCDM coming out around the corner. Sure.
Yeah.
But there's something so interesting about looking at like what another mind has created and then adapting that into the world and the game that I'm currently playing. So
100%.
And also just seeing what truly wild concept my players come up with. And so they took the bait. There was a creepy, long story super short. There was a town that had an undead empress, very a la Lich King in World of Warcraft. They unseat, they put their cleric there, transform undead to more celestial. And so it's more of like light beings, but still functioning town. So now it's kind of their base of operations. And so eventually it's like it's still kind of drawing death to it, but in more of a positive way. And so this cart and carriage and the proprietors of it show up like with undead horses. And then like, as they enter the like realm of the town, they transform into more of these light creatures, and they can tell that they were elves, so on and so forth. And they're like, we just want to be here. Is that okay? And so they're just setting up like a curiosity shop. And cause it's also my idea of like, well, what are things that I don't have in this town for them that I need and want to set for them so that they don't, that they have all that they could want in this town.
Yeah.
And so there was this painting on there, and I don't know if it was from a random table. I genuinely can't remember. And it transports, if you stare at the painting, you can go into the painting.
Ah.
And so then they chose to go into the painting, and they realized though that it's not an extra dimension. They're still in the world, but it's a permanent simulacrum basically built through the painting. So their husk basically is still chilling on the other side of the painting. So you can't just do it forever, because then your real body, if you will, is just stationary back on the other side of the painting. So they're there, and then they're trying to resolve some things on the other side. So that's been really fun. And I have some ideas as to like what the large conflict will be for them. And I am dancing around this because I'm hyper aware of who listens to this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't be too careful. That sounds fun. I love the messing around with like realms and planes and bodies, like what's happening to us if we're here and our bodies are elsewhere. The kind of cosmology problems are always fun to deal with, especially at higher levels.
You know what though? I will give this, because if my players truly are listening to this podcast, at least one of them I think does, I will give this hint. It is interesting to think what a person could do by painting a different scene inside the painting.
Sure. How can we change what's going on?
I'm just throwing that out there for anyone listening. What an interesting concept that is, right?
You know, I should start doing this too. I should tell my players I'm dropping hints in this show so that'll make them listen too.
Yeah.
Don't listen to this, all of you other DM's Block listeners. This is a good show. You should keep listening to it. We're worthwhile. But yeah, our players, may or may not be listening. Cool. Yeah. So Neal, DM's future. Do you have any big goals in mind for the show, or for your games, or for your professional, career in games that you want to talk about for DM's future?
All kinds of things. So game wise, there are a couple things that I'm pretty excited about. I had a huge setback on one particular thing that I was really excited about, because I actually had gifted to me the Lego D&D set.
Yeah.
Which is not small. So like it took a while to get all set up, because just finding the time to just sit down and build an elaborate Lego set, not the easiest thing to do. And then I bought an LED kit for it, which I've never done before. So that, you're learning a new skill. You're trying to be really careful with it, and you learn a valuable lesson. Like maybe you should unplug the little battery pack that goes to it, but you don't. And so you go to move it because you want it out of the way, because you don't want to leave batteries in there, and you accidentally realize it's still plugged in to the giant red dragon, and you just yank that off of the table and it just shatters into all of its subsequent pieces while ripping out all of the wires from the stuff you plugged in. So you have to buy another light kit. But I'm very close to finishing the second set of lights. And I'm very excited to run my kids through that, because it was a bummer, because my son really was like, I want to build it with you. And I was like, yeah, no, because there's things hidden within the build that are revealed through play. So I couldn't let him help me because he would know too much. So I am very excited about that.
I'm glad that Lego's getting back to that kind of stuff. As a kid, I got the Lego Maniac magazine, and I always see these cool sets with like the little traps and the hidden stuff. And I feel like the modern sets don't really have as much of that. The one that comes to mind specifically is like a Wild West set where you insert a stick of dynamite and it blows the jail cell door off, and you can, let the guy out. Anyway, that kind of stuff.
So one of the themed sets that do that more than probably most are the Minecraft sets. So if you're looking for ones with things that can manipulate and blow up and do certain things, the Minecraft ones do that a little bit more than some of the other ones, because I've bought quite a few for my son. And then the Mario one is truly out there, because it has like a little Bluetooth like capable figure with a camera on the bottom, and you can run them through levels that you build and things like that. So that's like exponentially over the top. But the other thing I'm super excited about is that for Christmas, I bought my daughter a book called Cthulhu, because she likes cats. Mm-hmm. And it's a system that has been out for over 10 years. And then, so I bought the first book to see if that's something she would be interested in. She is really interested in. So we're looking at getting the 10-year anniversary book that compiles like all 3 books and the adventures and things like that. And my big thing is, I'm not going to run this. My hope for this year is that that's something that happens, and that, because it'll be the first time she runs something for me, and that'd be pretty exciting. I did have her, like, I did go through it, most of it. It's basically a Fate. It's based on the Fate system. So I quickly figured out like, oh, okay, I can help. It's something I fully understand. So I'm like, oh, okay, I understand the rules. I can totally help if there's need for it. I'm super not running this. I don't want, I don't want to run this. I don't want to get too invested, because I just want to be a player for her. Yeah, so those are the things I'm most excited about.
That's so fun. I am really excited for the day when my kids have enough attention span to get in on this hobby. It'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, those are some good goals. For myself, for Dungeon Master's future, Neal and I and some of our friends from the Block Party Podcast Network have been putting together a short actual play. And we have most of the episodes recorded, but we still have to do some editing and stuff to release that. But yeah, this year I think it'd be super fun to get that published, however we decide to do that. There's another thing listeners can chime in on. How do you want to see bonus/actual play content from the Block Party Podcast Network or from us? Like, do you want to see it on this main feed, or would you prefer we set up a different feed that's just like random stuff that we put out that's bonus? You know, if you have any strong opinions on that, hit us up and tell us. Anyway, so yeah, it'd be fun to finish that up. We invited Jordan and Cade from the Bad Venture Club. We also invited Cade of Knocked Prone and We're More Than D&D characters to come in on that too. So yeah, we'll look for that in the future. In a few months or so, we'll have that all put together for you. So that'll be fun. I want to finish that up this year. I've got a lot of books on my shelf back here that are not D&D, and I would like to run at least one of those new games that I bought that I have never gotten around to. And I will try to convince my group to do that with me. I've got the Call of Cthulhu starter set. I feel like that's probably a good spot to start. I think I could get them in on some horror action, and we could do something fun with that. As far as the show's concerned, Neal and I have been talking a lot about like social media stuff that we want to start trying to do. Oh, here's another thing you listeners can chime in on. You've got a lot of homework this episode, so hopefully you've been taking notes. Listeners, let us know what kind of social media content you are most interested in getting from us, the co-hosts of the Dungeon Masters Block. Do you want to see, short form video content? Do you want us to post blog articles where we talk in depth about specific topics? Do you not want to see our faces at all and you just want to hear our voices? Whatever it is, let us know what you like most about us and what we have to say, and we'll try to involve that in our social media strategies.
Our faces are online, so you can go and then you can look at them and then judge accordingly and be like,
that's true.
Faces for radio for sure.
That's true. You can see what we look like if you want to. This was fun, but we haven't you've posted one episode from a Catacon so far, but we still have the other one with with Jared we need to post, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we have a second episode. I'm not sure where it'll fall in the schedule, but the second one will be It's Okay to TPK. So that is definitely something we already have in the can. And that'll be super exciting.
I was just going to mention, so we've had one episode that you recorded live from a Catacon already, so people know we were there. I also posted just a short form video of us going to a Catacon together and meeting up for the first time. So if you want to go see something tender, then you can go check that out. Go see Neal and I meeting each other for the first time. Anyway, Dungeon Master's future.
Yeah, I know you had asked, professional stuff. Like I am set to do the D20 cruise again.
Oh, cool.
And then I know we'll both look for other avenues and opportunities and things like that, because running games is fantastic, and having the opportunity to meet like-minded people in settings like that is so much fun. And so anytime we get, the chance to do anything like that, you bet I'll say yeah.
Yeah. That's a good call out.
The other thing was, like I said, any other opportunity I can find to like try and make more content. I think that's the other thing is like, it doesn't have to be, this big, neither of us are trying to do this to be infinitely wealthy, but community engagement and, just, there was somebody that I forget what it was or who to quote. Heck, I'll even look it up. The quote is basically, leave the world a little weirder than it was. And like the idea of just putting just this, and then the other thing I saw was like Neil deGrasse Tyson was, no matter what, the art that you create is something that cannot be generated any other way than you creating it.
Yeah.
And, it goes back to my ultimate thing is that because I saw someone else talking about like a book that they had wrote and the impact that it had on a child, and their only, it was a Make-A-Wish scenario. And the only thing that they wanted to know was like, how did the fifth book end? And because there was a very real scenario where they wouldn't be around to know. And so they gave them that. And it was the kind of thing where there was like a regalia set up through the book system, and they actually handed that kind of stuff to the kid. And they ended up passing shortly after that connection. And like even retelling the story, the author and like one of the people involved are bawling, crying because they could see the impact that their words had. And so it continues to be one of the things that is really important to me. Anyone that's listening, you as a DM are a content creator. And I know those are weird words, but like I know they carry a lot with them, but I guess I'm just trying to take those back. But the idea that you are creating content, and that content is for the people that are at your table. And at the end of the day, there's always a chance that what you're creating is going to be much more important to the people you created it for than for you. And it's super important to hold on to that, because you never know what someone's going through and how much the stuff we make can mean to someone else just because it's the right thing for the right person at the right time.
Totally. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up conventions. I've got 3 opportunities this year, and I guess it just kind of 4 opportunities, and it kind of depends on which ones I decide I'm going to do. I've got my local convention called SaltCon coming up. I haven't signed up to run games yet, but they did just blast us on Discord saying we need more people, so I'll have to see if I can make that work. But then after that, there's probably going to be another Dead Wars. I didn't do that last year, so we'll see if I decide to do that one. Then you've got a Catacon again, so we'll see if we can make that work. And then after that, at the very end of this year, will be Brandon Sanderson's local convention called
All right.
Dragonsteel Nexus. And they're always trying to run the new Cosmere RPG at those events, so I could probably, run some tables there. So yeah, we'll see which one I decide to do. But it would be a lot of fun to go to one or any of those and kind of hang out and run some games and enjoy it. The other thing is, like I said, my home game is probably winding down. And so it'll be fun to kind of figure out what we're going to do next with my home group and what they're kind of interested in. I personally have been in the background taking a bunch of notes and kind of pseudo prepping for a Western themed game, because that's kind of what's exciting me right now in this moment. I want to obviously strip out the colonialism and the racism from the Western genre, and I think it's doable. I think I could still have some interesting and compelling stories and conflict that don't have to do with that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've been kind of prepping that on the back burner, and the plan was to see as we get closer to the end here, hey, everyone, does this sound interesting? Do you feel like you could find or create a compelling and interesting character and find some fun adventure in a place like this? And if the answer is yes, then great, we'll move forward with that. But that's kind of what I have in mind. That's kind of what I have in mind for this year anyway. But yeah, the future is exciting. I'm really excited for you, Neal. Like you said, with the MCDDM stuff coming up, that's going to be really cool. And it would be really cool to keep working in that industry and keep finding opportunities. So hopefully with your foot in the door, you find a lot of other stuff to work on. Yeah.
Shout out to them. That was fantastic to work with them. I mean, it helps that I've known James for an inordinate amount of time. So that does make the working relationship. And James is the one that taught me this term, social capital. James and I have a lot of social capital with each other. So like the give and take back and forth is really good. But the structure they have for learning their system, is really, really well put together. But the idea of having someone play the game as a way to learn how to design for it is ingenious and extremely straightforward. It also showed me like so much about what was important to the game, what was important to resource, what was important to dynamics, what was important to play, what was important to reward, that was probably the thing I actually took away the most. What was actually meaningful to reward players while writing for dungeons. I wrote 2 dungeons for them. And I wouldn't have done them correctly. Had I not played through the game a little bit, I would have not written the rewards the way I did had I not done that.
Honestly, I was going to say, like, I feel like unless you're one of those people who jumped in head first and was like, I'm going to Dungeon Master and I'm going to homebrew everything that I'm doing as well, you know, on top of that, unless you're one of those very gifted, talented people, the rest of us had to learn how to design by playing also, right? Like, that's just the best way to do it. Like, after running through The Lost Mine of Phandelver myself, being as a player, I was like, okay, I know how this works now. And, you know, I immediately began homebrewing after that. But it took me just enough repetition and kind of seeing how things played out for the players to say, okay, I can replicate this experience. I can make it interesting and make it my own, but also kind of deliver on this same experience. Well, Neal, I mentioned a lot of things during the episode, so here's a reiteration of the homework for all the folks out there. Number 1, you need to tell us what Christmas movies we should add to our rotation to watch every year, or tell us an obscure one that you like that we didn't mention. Number 2, you need to tell us what kind of social media posts you want us to post about, if you want us to post on social media. And number 3, you need to go watch our reel about Neal and I meeting for the first time at a catacon, or I guess in the Dallas Fort Worth airport on the way to a catacon. That's your homework today.
Number 4, I would like everyone's opinion on whether or not Die Hard is in fact a Christmas movie. I will not give my own opinion.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Oh, I'm not giving my opinion.
I'm saying to the listeners, let's hear it. You know.
Oh no! I thought you wanted mine.
No,
I thought you
I
wanted
want
mine.
your opinion.
Oh, good. I'm not giving you my opinion because we just want to hear your opinion.
Fine.
We're not going to fight each other about this. I have no idea what he thinks, and he doesn't know what I think.
Nope.
So.
Also, I haven't seen Die Hard, so I can't give you an opinion.
That's wild. Also, feel free to email and shame me about not having seen Elf until now. That's totally fine too. Don't mind at all.
That's true. And me not seeing Die
or
Hard.
Love Actually.
Yeah. Shame us
feel
both.
free.
Yeah, or Love Actually. Yeah. There's a lot of movies I haven't seen, so you know it's a long list. If you want, you can just email me about your favorite movie, which odds are I haven't seen, and just tell me that I need to see it.
And as always, the best place to email us is at dungeonmasterblock@gmail.com. And of course, if for some reason you really enjoyed this episode above all others and saw fit to give us a 5-star review, you can just go over to Apple Podcasts or your podcatcher of choice, leave that rating and review, and we'll probably read it on air at some point.
I've heard that the ghost of Dungeon Master's Past visits you if you haven't left us a review yet, so that's motivation.
It might be to not do it. You might like ghosts. I don't know.
Maybe you want that kind of encounter in your life. Sure. You can follow us on social medias at DMS_block in most places. That's on X/Twitter. That you can check us out on Facebook. You can like us there. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Threads and Blue Sky and the other one that I can't.
Mastodon.
Not that.
TikTok. MySpace.
Threads.
Zanga.
Blue Sky. Oh my gosh.
We didn't make a Substack. I have a Substack.
Yeah, you should follow Neal's Substack.
The struggle is Neal.com. Head on over.
Yeah. The Dungeon Masters Block is a proud member of the Block Party Podcast Network. You can check out all their Block Party Podcast Network shows like The Bad Venture Club, Knocked Prone, Dungeons and Dragons and Daughters, How Not to Dungeon Master, and more.
But as always, thanks for listening to the Dungeon Masters Blog, the place where we come to talk about the Dungeon Master, the most important person in the game. The only person capable of playing gods,
killing characters,
and lowering the ego scores of all the people at the Christmas table.
I'm DM Derrick, reminding you dungeons don't make themselves.
And I'm DM Neal, and Dungeon Masters Block has been brought to you today by the letter D and by the number 20. Dungeon Masters Block is a production of the Block Party Workshop. And don't forget, keep on
and brought
Dungeon
to you by donations like you.
And donations like you. Ah!
Yeah, No, sorry, you're right. I was trying to think of what PBS always says, because that's what I grew up watching is like PBS shows.
Don't forget to spay and neuter your pets. And if you've waited this long, Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and it's okay. It's set during Christmas time. That's the point. Jingle All the Way is less of a Christmas movie than Die Hard. It's just about angry shoppers.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
It could be any time. It could be.
Is it the Thanksgiving Day parade that they're like watching?
Yeah, it could.
That he becomes a part of?
Yeah, and they could literally just be any time. Because they're just.
Or is it a Christmas parade?
But they're just.
Either way.
But they're just fighting over a toy. It could just be like the release of like the brand new Nintendo system.
But doesn't he learn about the true meaning of Christmas as part of it, you know?
He does. And they make fun of it on Solar Opposites, and it's really, really funny. So.
Oh, they do? I need to watch that.
Oh,
I've watched maybe the
so
first 2
good.
or 3 seasons of Solar Opposites, but I've missed the rest.
So good.
Oh, man. I haven't seen Die Hard, so I can't tell you if it's a Christmas movie or not, but I maybe will one day watch it. Maybe.